Leo was a young farmer living in a small village where life was peaceful, yet also full of challenges. He was strong, full of energy, and always carried big dreams within him. Leo did not want to live an ordinary life like others in the village. He longed to become rich, successful, and respected by everyone. In conversations with his friends, Leo often confidently said that one day he would become the richest farmer in the village. He imagined his fields shining with golden harvests, and people would come to him for advice. Leo's words made many people admire him because not everyone dares to dream that big. They believed that with determination, Leo could achieve what he desired. However, behind those dreams was a truth that few noticed. Leo had not truly begun to take action. He spent more time talking about the future than working in the present. His dreams were very clear, but the path to turn them into reality was still left open. Leo's story at this stage shows a familiar truth in life. Everyone can dream, but not everyone is willing to take action to turn those dreams into reality. Although Leo was a person with great ambition and always talked about his dreams, in reality, he lived completely opposite to what he wished to achieve. When the sun had just risen, while other farmers in the village had already gone out to the fields to work hard, Leo was still lying in bed, enjoying comfort and delaying his work. He always told himself that he would start tomorrow, but that tomorrow never truly came. While other men worked under the scorching sun to take care of their fields, Leo chose to sit in the shade, chatting and talking about his big plans. He preferred talking about success rather than taking action. Not only that, when he saw the women in the village struggling to fetch water from the well, he did not help but only said that he would do it later. His promises gradually became meaningless because they were never fulfilled. Ideas and big goals, but all of them stopped at thoughts and words. He loved imagining a bright future, yet he was not willing to face the difficulties and efforts needed to achieve it. Laziness had quietly taken over his time and opportunities. This part of the story shows a clear reality. If you only dream without taking action, then no matter how great your ambition is, the final result will still be zero. One evening, Leo's uncle, an elderly farmer, experienced and extremely wise, came to visit him. When he stepped into the field, he could not help but be surprised to see that the land, which was once very fertile, was completely empty, with no crops at all. Looking at that desolate scene, he understood that the things Leo often said about dreams and success were still just empty words. He gently asked Leo why his field was left abandoned like that, while he always talked about a bright future with abundant golden harvests. Leo only smiled and, as usual, replied that he would start tomorrow, that everything would eventually be fine. But his uncle had heard this answer too many times, and he knew that without a real lesson, Leo would remain stuck in the cycle of procrastination. Therefore, the uncle decided to teach Leo a profound lesson. He took out 2 small bags and handed them to Leo. Inside were 2 special types of seeds. He explained that these were not ordinary seeds, but seeds that carried symbolic meanings for life. One was the seed of ambition. If Leo planted and cared for it every day with effort and perseverance, it would grow into a large tree, bringing sweet fruits, shade, and even wealth. The other seed was the seed of laziness. It required no care, yet could still grow quickly, but it would spread into weeds and destroy the entire field. The uncle placed the 2 seeds in Leo's hands and said that his future depended on his own choice. It was not just a choice about planting seeds, but also a choice about how he would live his life. After receiving the 2 seeds from his uncle, Leo initially felt very confident in his decision. He was certain that he would plant the seed of ambition because he always longed for success and a better life. In Leo's mind, everything seemed very simple. Just start, and things would gradually become better. However, when the next morning came, the familiar habit of laziness appeared again. He felt tired and told himself that he could delay for one more day. The following days passed in hesitation and delay. Leo kept telling himself that he would start tomorrow, but that tomorrow kept repeating and never became the present. In the end, not out of determination, but simply out of boredom, he planted both seeds in the ground. He did not think much, just wanted to see what would happen, and still kept his habit of delaying taking care of them. As time went by, Leo completely forgot about the existence of the two seeds. He continued to live as before, sleeping a lot, engaging in meaningless conversations, and dreaming about a future that he made no effort to achieve. Until one day, when he returned to the field, the scene before his eyes left him in disbelief. The seed of laziness had grown vigorously, spreading everywhere with thick patches of weeds that covered the entire land. They not only took up space, but also suffocated every other opportunity for growth. Meanwhile, the seed of ambition was in a completely opposite condition. It was weak, small, and almost dying because it had not been cared for or watered. At that moment, Leo began to realize that his own laziness and procrastination had caused his dreams to gradually disappear, and what he once hoped for was being replaced by consequences he had never expected. When the uncle returned and saw Leo's field, he did not need to say much to understand what had happened. The land that was once fertile was now covered with weeds, growing densely and spreading everywhere. Meanwhile, the seed of ambition that Leo once hoped for had almost died, weak and without any chance to grow. Looking at that scene, the uncle gently told Leo that this field was a reflection of his life. He explained that ambition is like a small seed. It cannot grow on its own without care. It needs perseverance, effort, and daily action. If left unattended, it will gradually weaken and disappear. In contrast, laziness does not require any nourishment, yet it can still grow strongly. It is like weeds, spreading quickly and destroying everything around it, including the good things people wish to build. The uncle's words awakened Leo. He realized that it was not circumstances or fate that had held him back, but his own laziness and habit of procrastination that had silently destroyed his future. The dreams he once took pride in were now gradually fading before his eyes. Leo knelt down in the middle of the field, looking at the dying seed of ambition. Tears fell from his eyes, not only because of regret, but also because of deep remorse. For the first time in his life, he truly understood that dreaming alone is not enough. Without action, all ambition is nothing more than an illusion. That moment became a turning point in Leo's life. He realized that if he did not change right now, he would lose everything. And from that awareness, a new determination began to form within him. After a long night of struggling with thoughts about his mistakes, Leo could hardly sleep. He recalled all the time he had wasted, the promises he had never fulfilled, and the opportunities that had passed and could not return. For the first time, Leo truly faced himself and realized that if he did not change immediately, he would be stuck forever in the cycle of laziness. The next morning, before the sun had even risen, Leo was already awake. This was something he had never done before. With no more delays or excuses, he stepped out into the field with a strong determination. Before him was a piece of land full of weeds, the result of days of neglect. But instead of feeling discouraged, Leo began to take action. He used his own hands to pull out each clump of weeds. The work was extremely exhausting. His back ached, his hands were scratched and bleeding, but he did not stop. After clearing the weeds, Leo began to care for the remaining seed of ambition. Every day, he watered it, tended to it, and monitored its growth. Although results did not come immediately, he no longer gave up like before. His persistence gradually brought change. The once weak seed began to grow into a healthy tree. Over time, not only did the field change, but Leo himself also changed. He was no longer a lazy person who only dreamed, but became someone hardworking, disciplined, and responsible. In the end, his efforts were rewarded as the tree of ambition grew strong, bringing worthy results for all his relentless efforts.